That's like watering a plant.
It's what plants crave!
Warning. The following podcast is another wasted hour. Warning. The following podcast is another wasted hour.
Don't waste my motherfucking time!
Good news! Adam isn't going to have to fix that one in post. We sounded like complete idiots last week because we complained about the intro, and then he fixed it, and now everyone's like, why are they insane?
You're welcome!
No, we're not welcome.
Shut up.
You're not welcome. You should never come back here. All right, so at the risk of incurring the wrath of our patron saint, Mr. Pacino, wasting your time is exactly what we're going to do. Instead of a useful, productive hour, it will be replaced with two ignorant, uninformed, ill-advised, self-deprecating morons ranting about opinions that they have no right to have, which are probably wrong and absolutely do not matter. With that said, if for some god-awful reason you enjoy wasting the precious little time you have on this earth, like, I don't know, waiting for Andrew Jackson to end the Civil War, search for Another Wasted Hour on all social media sites and share, follow, mention, like, and review us. Also, please subscribe to Another Wasted Hour on iTunes, Google Play Music, or Stitcher, and review us there as well. Our goal is to convince you that where we hail from, just outside of Washington, D.C., is not just a city of politics and scandals, but one brimming with art, music, and culture, as impossible as that may seem. So, listeners, now that you know why you're here, I am Keith, and across from me is my co-host, Victor. Victor, why are you here this week?
I am the proud owner of a brand new 2015 Toyota Corolla.
Is that a type of bike?
No, I'm lying. I didn't buy a car. I'm going to have a baby.
What? You're naming your baby Corolla?
No. I just get confused with the facts sometimes.
Come here, Prius.
Oh, yeah.
Look at you.
Oh,
I'm going to plug you into the wall.
My little Hyundai. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm doing November.
Wait, hold on. You're not doing November. There's no way.
We're doing November. It's a team effort.
Yeah.
All right. I got to feel like I'm involved.
It's not a team effort. You put about 5 minutes into it like a couple months ago, and now you're out.
Like 2 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Let's not take credit where credit is not due, my friend.
Whatever. I was essential to the. Congratulate me, you asshole.
Well, congratulations.
Oh, now it's not genuine. I don't want to have to tell you to say it. I want you to think about it on your own.
Oh, fine. Okay. Then genuinely, go fuck yourself.
All right. Get hit by a small meteor, Keith. Why are you here today?
I am glad you asked. I know that in this room, we do not have a lot of sports fans, but I need to turn your attention to something that you need to know about, just so that when you're around the water cooler, you don't look like a complete idiot as much. So in Washington, D.C., where we hail from, there happens to be a baseball team. This is a team that happens to play baseball.
What?
Yeah. They're called the Washington Nationals. Okay.
Creative.
And
very creative.
so here's the thing that I need you to be aware of. I know that probably like me, I'm not a big baseball fan. You probably don't have a lot of knowledge about baseball, but I bet if I were to quiz you a little bit on it, you'd have some very vague concepts of what a baseball game is like.
Yeah, that one guy hit a bird with his pitch.
Exactly.
I know that about baseball.
So here's what I want you to just let sink in for a moment. Last game, the Washington Nationals scored 23 runs in a baseball game.
Big deal. In football, they score like 30 points, something like that.
I know, but that's because that's like 3 touchdowns, which aren't allowed in baseball.
Yeah.
Yes, sure, it's a couple of spares, but it's not bowling. Hell, that's a great like front 9 of golf. Like that is not a score that you have in a baseball game.
Who were they playing against?
They were playing against the Mets, who are actually not bad, apparently. Here's the thing.
Not anymore.
In the past 6 games, all right, going back to April 28th, I believe is what it is, the Nationals have scored 73 runs in 6 games.
Holy shit.
To put that in perspective, the Kansas City Royals have scored only 69 runs all season.
Oh my God.
That is 24 games so far. They've outscored a team in a week for their whole season. So,
what are they like? What are they batting the golden snitch or something? What the fuck?
I have no idea. I mean, at that point, you could just let anyone pitch, right? Like, you could just be like, we have 23 runs. who has a bar tab lower than that? Because if
Right.
you do, you get to pitch.
That's 2 beers. 2 beers. Who hasn't had 2 beers yet?
I mean, how do you can't lose that game. If you lose that game, you have to shut down your entire baseball team and
Try
give
really hard.
You have to give those players to other people because you don't know how to play baseball.
Right.
So-
Here to replace the New York Mets, the Washington Nationals, we have Bills Tornadoes.
We have-
for the 6-year-old Little League team.
We have the DC United, the soccer team.
They're good to play with their feet.
Yes. So even more importantly than that, someone who has scored more runs, I believe, in his career than the Washington Nationals is our guest today in studio, Jason Mendelson.
Hey, yeah, that's absolutely true.
Yeah, absolutely a fact that cannot be disputed. We don't know how we're counting runs. That's the tricky bit. But you've probably ran more than 23 times in your life.
Yeah, you have a Fitbit on how many steps you got in today?
I've considered running. Oh yeah, let's see. 6,956.
See? If you count each of those.
Suck on that, Nationals.
So our good friend Jason, this is the second time that you've been in my basement studio.
There's less whips and chains.
Yeah, well,
This
the
time.
last time was a lot more exciting, but this time you're going to be sharing, for those people that do not know, one of your big claims to fame is a large collection of songs called Metro Songs. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I started a project in 2010 to write an original song for each of the DC area's 91 metro station locations. So it's based on local history and character and geography and stuff.
And you actually like go to them, right? And do you actually
Well, I've been to most of them.
most of them?
I've cheated on some and
But you
used
read-
the internets.
You like research them and try and get a sense of like what that area would be like or that station.
Oh,
things like
yeah.
that. You just don't shout out like, I like your foggy bottom. Like that's not right.
Yeah, although I wish I had thought of that now. No, I'm very dedicated, and I go at least 2 or 3 clicks past Wikipedia.
There you
So,
go.
you know.
There, so that counts.
Nice.
And
That's impressive.
And so how many have you gotten through so far?
They're all done, all 91.
What?
Yep, just last month, put out the last 2 albums, volumes 7 and 8. So that brings
What is that
the
like?
thing
The
to a
red
close.
line.
Well, you know, it's funny, when I started it, I thought I would do all of the blue line first or something like that, but then it just before I even finished the first album, like there was other stations I wanted to write about, so I just kind of did whatever the heck I wanted. And
Like a rebel.
The only Metro Songs Rebel.
I'm gonna write about whatever metro stations I want, and you can't stop me.
Oh no, that one's not on the line you start on. Like, well, do you want to write a song for?
Are you gonna write songs about sex and drugs? No, that's a little too far. But any metro station, I'm gonna do them out of order.
Does it irk you that they're making a new metro station like all along the Silver Line? There's like 4 more.
No, I figure that's no big deal. I mean, I just finished writing 91 songs, so what's 5 more?
I guess.
Like, yeah, I'll put out an EP in 2 years, sure.
That's what we should have done. Is we should have challenged Metro to stay out ahead of you. Right? Just like as soon as you put one out there, like one more station.
A 4-minute song versus a several $1 million bus or
like a
metro station.
Like a John Henry kind of challenge.
Right, and then they just start naming them things you can't rhyme with. Like, this is station's Hoppa Popinol. And they're like, what am I gonna do with that?
This is station Agent Orange. Good luck rhyming with that.
There's already a line, so I'm sure
Right.
you have one of the. I think one of the albums is called Rhymes with Orange. Isn't
This
it?
one's Hi Ho Silver.
Oh, that's actually my old band
that's
from
it.
Florida.
Oh, that's the old. Okay, the old band. I remember
Yeah.
seeing it. Okay, so
I snuck that one in
not-
there because I've got the box of 1,000 in the basement. That,
You're
like,
just trying to get rid of.
what are you gonna do with it?
I'm like, I don't want this
Nothing
anymore.
rhymes with orange.
Yes,
You're a liar.
That proved to be our downfall.
orange.
Porridge.
Yes.
Yeah, we'd always get people to say, "Oh, what about Borange?" Ha ha ha.
And then they immediately get hit by a meteor.
Yeah, they die.
If we could only hope. And you also have a show coming up. That's right. That you're here promoting.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
We're gonna. It's gonna be in duo form, not the full band. But,
An incredibly rebellious show, if my understanding
well,
is
that's
correct.
that's what Transit Rock is about. you
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
It's
Any
gonna
metro
be
station, any order, and then shows at.
the City of Gaithersburg Book Festival on
You're painting yourself into a corner. You know that, Jason. I write about train stations and go to book shows.
Yeah, it's funny. I usually play like bars and stuff.
Yeah.
But there's apparently this book festival, and they're gonna have music, and so me and
How can anybody read while there's a band in the background?
Yeah,
That just doesn't make sense.
So loud.
no, it doesn't.
Hey, can you quiet down?
I'm trying to read.
Try to read this book.
I did not think
It's your
this through.
book.
Before him and after him are just books on stage. This is an awesome festival.
It's an early one. It's 11 a.m. So
What?
yeah,
Does music happen before noon? I didn't know that.
we'll find out.
We will.
Instruments just don't work until the sun is high in the sky.
Well, I don't have to sing much because Faith Hayden, who sings in the band, is going to be with me. So
Oh, okay, good.
so I
so
can
you-
kind of skate and just let her sing.
Just hand it over to her. I like the Venn diagram that we're painting. Is right now we're trying to find people who love trains, love books, and like getting up early, but want to see music. That's the
But
Venn
want to see
diagram.
music. That's rough.
Right there. That's the sweet spot.
It's
You know what you
it's
could
me.
go for? People that have stayed up extra late that like music. That's more likely.
Well, speaking of people who like to read books, we like to read news on the internet.
Nice transition. Sorry.
Yes, transit authority. I see what you're doing. There's words in both of those things, so I think it's a good transition.
Well, this next part, we are going to do the weather report. So we'll throw some headlines at you, describe some stories, and they were really in the news. You get to decide whether or not they should have been.
Yes.
By whatever criteria you deem fit.
Yes.
So if they didn't have a single metro stop in it, you're like, nope, not news. So
That's
whatever.
what it requires, Metro style.
Whatever you want. Your requirement is nope, no dinosaurs in this one. You're good.
Yeah. So I think I get to go first. So this one is interesting, I think, because as you know, there's a separation of church and state in our country, right? So you have the
Kinda.
freedom. You have the freedom.
Supposed to be.
Yeah, you have the freedom to practice what religion you happen to be. This man from Missouri has seems to have found maybe a bit of a loophole. He has claimed in appeals court that distributing heroin is part of his religious beliefs.
Awesome.
What?
That's where, yeah. So he has decided that he should be allowed to distribute heroin because God. And which I think this opens the door for a lot of things, right? Because now if this goes through and they're like, I mean, he's got a really good point. I'd be like, speeding? Like I'm a speedologist.
Not paying taxes.
Yeah, right. Exactly. There's a lot of things that we could start creating religions around, and so this man is a bit of my hero. I think.
I think it was Ben Franklin who said, heroin is proof that God loves us and wants us to be happy.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he said that. That was him.
There's no way you could prove that. I
That
think.
guy. Well, you can't disprove it. Suck
well,
on that. Checkmate, atheists.
That is fair. So I'm asking you, Jason, the man who may have found the loophole in the Constitution of the United States, is it news or not news?
I'm gonna say that is kind of news. It makes me.
50%,
I'm interested
50% news.
because I think there is a Coptic church, and a lot of what they do is centered around weed.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and
has
I
nothing to do with
Do you
imagine.
know
Cop
where
dicks.
there's a local chapter of that, or
Sadly, no.
Not that kind of wasted.
that is? Yeah, he's got a point. I don't know why we let him talk, but he's really quite wise.
He's had a lot of alcohol, a
Since
lot
he's
of beer.
Since he's come back from the dead, he's surprisingly wise. I didn't know that that's what happened when you died.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, so you're saying
I don't know. I imagine they just keep a low profile, I
Right.
guess, because we're not. I mean, you don't hear about them
Right.
hardly ever. So, yeah, I'm gonna say maybe this guy is not doing as well as staying off people's radar.
well,
News, yeah, sure.
news. Yes. All right. So next item up for bid.
I got one. Bus drivers' licenses suspended after highway drag race. So this happened in India. two bus drivers were racing. It's apparently a lot like when Domino's would say the 30 minutes or your meal is free type thing. So they get rewarded for faster routes. So they were literally just racing down the highway on the shoulder, in the grass, nearly hitting like all sorts of, it said, highway race nearly ends in disaster. So they suspended their licenses, and all the other bus drivers are like, well, shit, I'm glad we weren't the ones who got caught doing it. But apparently that's a big problem in India. It's the 30 minutes or less Domino's bus ride.
So two buses racing each other.
Two buses drag racing.
Drag racing.
For pizza.
Can you imagine, like, you're sitting at the bus stop and one bus just comes up, slams on the brakes, screeches to a stop, and then one behind it just slams into it, pushes it out of the way. That's what I like to envision. When
I'd like to hear them revving. I'd like to hear them revving the engines like when they're waiting for the light to change.
It's India. They don't wait for the light to change. I don't think they even have lights.
No? None at all?
None at all.
I think they have some electric lights.
I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe like the flame on the torch burns a different... Am I thinking of the wrong nation?
Yes, probably. I don't know. So, Jason.
I'll say public safety. That's news.
That's news!
Boom! Suck on that.
Okay, well then, this is absolutely news then. In China, a gentleman feeling quite distraught decided to climb up to... the Hazhou Bridge, which is probably not how you say that, and threatened to jump because he wanted
Hanko or something.
Yeah, I'm everything I'm going to say from this point forward is not pronounced correctly. So a lot of people have jumped off this bridge. He obviously wanted to end his life because of reasons, and but luckily, a man. So obviously they shut down the bridge, traffic. A man, Lian Zhanxing, who is 66, was passing by the bridge. And when he saw the guy threatening to jump, obviously traffic was held up for like 5 hours. He rushed through the traffic, went through the police barricades. He climbed up the bridge himself, reached out his hand to the man and said, to offer him, support and kindness. And the man reached out his hand. And then Mr. Lian Zhanxing pushed him off the bridge. And then, yeah. What? And then
After all that trouble,
and
he
then,
just got
dude,
pushed.
Not where I thought that was going.
And then traffic was able to go freely again, and everyone was happy.
Well, he was an angry boy. He was a bit too insane, probably icing over some secret pain.
Yes.
He knew he didn't belong.
I understand.
Are you shitting me?
Yeah. So this hero took his own life in his hands to go up onto that bridge and push that man off of the bridge.
What did they do to the guy? Like, all right, we're not even mad. You fixed the problem.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a pretty good point. Now, there is a little bit of a piece in there. In the time that all this happened, police were actually able to put a partially inflated emergency air cushion under the man on the bridge.
That changes the mood of this completely.
Oh.
So the man did get some elbow and spine injuries, but he is alive. But there's some awesome pictures of the hero just smiling at himself like, I just shoved this asshole off a bridge.
Don't forget to do that again.
He basically said that he felt that people who are jumping off bridges and tying up traffic are selfish. And I guess they should kill themselves in some other way.
Or,
So-
all right, dude, we've got a safety net for you. Just fucking jump.
Just do it.
I said jump. I'll do it.
I got this. Hold my beer. I'm going to shove this guy off a bridge.
So I've got another. Oh, sorry.
Jason, is it news or not?
Man, if that ain't news, I don't know what is.
The twist is at the
But
end.
Mike, I mean, I would be concerned that should that be news? Like there's some interesting things in there, but I don't know. I'd be worried about copycats.
I would be happy with copycats. How about you, Victor?
So I got another suicidal guy. Maybe he's just real mad.
Everyone.
Man sits in front of bus to protest not being allowed to board. He was like 12 seconds late. The doors closed. The bus started to move.
Okay.
So he jumped in front of it and put his hands on it like as if he could Superman push it backwards back to the stop to get on it.
Right.
And when he wasn't Superman, he sat down in front of it, Tiananmen Square style, and just refused to move. The bus, he was so close to the bus that the bus couldn't go around him.
Oh.
So there's a stalemate. A stubborn bus driver and some asshole who's late, so he decides to make everybody else late. And I'm thinking, like, yeah, next time if I want a cab, I'll just step out into the middle of the street.
Yeah, and just be like,
Cool.
Stop! I need a cab now.
Oh,
There's already somebody in the car. Tell them to get out of the car.
Save your cab money. Take the ambulance home.
So, Jason, is it news or not news?
Where did this happen?
This was New Zealand. So, of course, everybody's like, New Zealand is pretty much like Canada. So the cops came. We're like, hey, man, what are you doing? Please get up. Come on, get up, move. And no arrests were made. I'm not really saving my case here, am I?
If
it ended in a
that had
police
been-
shootout
What
and there
I'm
were
hearing
explosions.
is a man in front of a bus in New Zealand. That's all I'm hearing.
Shut up, Keith. Nobody asked your opinion.
If it had been like, Manhattan or something, I would have been like, meh.
point. Yeah.
But, New Zealand, yeah, I could. Oh, it's a tough call.
That's a yes.
That was totally a no.
That was a
is
yes.
absolutely a no. All right, Jason, you're stalling. Go.
No.
Yeah! I take the lead.
Damn it.
Excellent. Well, this also happened in New Zealand. However, I believe in New Zealand we have found basically the most manly man in the entire world. I know you thought up until this point it was like Chuck Norris. It was any number.
Chuck Norris found all the Pokemon in Pokemon Go from a landline. Okay.
Yes. Well, I'm sure he did. But this man, used his neighbor's 8,000 volt electric fence to jump start his own heart.
What?
He had
What a
atrial
boss.
defibrillation. Basically, an irregular heartbeat, which left untreated could lead to a stroke. Anyhow, his heart stopped, so he grabs hold of this fence and jump starts his own heart, like
Thug life.
right. Just so that man right now has my complete adoration because
So his heart stopped. He had to walk across the field to get to the fence in the first place.
I guess he was like near the fence at the moment that it happened.
Oh, the old ticker's acting up again. Let me shock it back into rhythm.
Yeah. And so, I also have notes here. He shocked his own heart back into rhythm, and then he climbed a bridge and shoved a man off of it. Is that news or not news?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
news.
it is. It's news.
Whatever. All right, so overturned semi-trailer truck spills corn on the Minnesota highway. That really wouldn't be that remarkable.
No.
Be like, okay, a can
Whatever.
of corn
Yeah.
fell. It covered both sides of the highway because some chud was trying to make a U-turn. The semi-driver swerved. The truck flipped. Corn spilled out both sides of the highway. And here's the fun part. Of course, the truck flipped. So the gas tanks, since they're external,
Yeah.
started to leak.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, how hot does it need to be? Luckily, it's Minnesota, not like
Yeah.
Texas,
Sure.
because that would be like a shit fuck ton of popcorn if it was hot
waiting
enough
for it.
and the gas was going off and then both streets are covered in popcorn. I would be sorely entertained.
Wait,
But-
So there's people like up on Google going like, can we spot a butter truck anywhere around here? Because if we could get that guy to jackknife, we have got a party right
bring your
now.
own salt. Jackknife. So yeah, I'm pretty sure like we should. That the guy who's doing a U-turn was actually looking for a truck full of candy corn, so we just get rid of that shit. But what do you think? News? Not news.
So this does not end with it being like a hot day and it all popping and becoming popcorn?
Nope.
No, it ends in
No.
a police shootout and Godzilla.
What I'm hearing is just popcorn on a road. Not even popcorn, just regular
No popcorn.
corn. Yeah, just corn,
Corn
on
did
a
not
road.
pop.
Just
I-
anti-popcorn on a road.
I got to tell you, Victor,
Officers said minor injuries were involved.
you set me up for an expectation of popcorn and hilarity,
Yeah.
and that did not deliver.
But I got you your favorite thing. Disappointment.
And then that corn climbed a bridge and threw a man off of it. All right, last but not least.
Nope. I'm sorry, not news.
Whatever.
All right, so I've got one for you. I think this is a pretty important one. A man has received in a court case a $9.4 million fine and 8 years in prison as the ringleader in a maple syrup heist. That's
Is that
right.
like that molasses disaster that happened a couple shows ago.
Now, here's the thing that I find impressive, because obviously those numbers are pretty high for maple syrup, because I'm sure somebody somewhere has, nixed a maple syrup from like an IHOP and probably not gotten so bad. Here's the thing. He robbed 3,000 tons of syrup, which is $18.7 million worth of maple syrup.
Not even mad. I'm just when he put him in his pockets.
I don't know. Couldn't have been going very fast. I'm just saying, like,
I don't think it was in packet form, though.
yeah, I think it was
My
just,
God, that'd be like a cargo ship of maple syrup packets.
I don't know if that's more or less than the amount that killed people in, like, was it New York or Boston?
Yeah, he better handle that. It was Boston. He
Yeah.
better handle that carefully. Or
Very-
a tidal wave of maple syrup will kill 31 people.
So, yeah, is it news that a man is going to jail for 8 years and has to pay $9.4 million because of maple syrup?
Well, in absence of details on how this transpired,
Well, they
I'm
don't want to
not-
give us the details, otherwise we will steal maple syrup.
But was it in truck form? Like, did he hijack a tanker?
Let's see.
Are there maple syrup tankers? Is that a thing?
It was from a warehouse belonging to the Federation of Quebec Maple Syrup Producers, the regulatory body that controls them and manages the maple trade, or the syrup trade. Let's see. Yeah, it was an inventory check. It was supposed to be full. No, they don't know exactly why, it seems like. But he actually took barrels and then put new barrels full of water in there, which I think is pretty impressive. So they were like, look, we got all the barrels. We're fine. And then they opened them up and they're like, these aren't sweet.
This is weed.
This is the worst pancake I've ever had.
I gotta say no.
No! Suck on that.
Well, we've run out of time.
I got one more.
We
I
got one more. Okay, yeah.
Let's see here. This says Gwyneth Paltrow is trying to kill you.
Oh, yeah, but we don't have time to go into
We
that
do
right
have
now.
to totally have time.
No,
we haven't
we-
got time for 3 weeks.
We can't do it right now. We're already over time.
all right, we'll get to it next week.
Yeah, next week we'll absolutely let you guys know why Gwyneth Paltrow might be trying to kill you.
That's news.
Yeah.
That's news.
It is-
I'm giving that a yes.
Boom.
It's news, but instead we need to take time to speak to Jason Mendelson.
We actually need to address what's important here.
Yes, exactly. Which is absolutely news. The news is that you've released the last parts of Metro songs,
Yeah.
the last 2 volumes. All of the Metro songs are done,
Double album, baby.
which is pretty exciting. And
It is.
And as in addition to that, you're going to be celebrating the release of the last 2 volumes by having a ruckus party at the Gaithersburg Book Festival in Gaithersburg, Maryland, which is May 20th, and you'll be playing at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
Does anyone call you a party animal? Does that come up often?
Party like it's
All
Bob
the
Dylan.
time. All the
Yeah,
time.
I can tell. It seems like that way. So he'll be handing out. You can come buy his album. I assume that you have
Compact discs.
compact discs and.
How about DVDs? Do you got any of those?
Divids? No, no DVDs. But I am thinking about making little movies now because I'm gonna have some free time.
do you have any
you know.
little book tabs? The things that you placeholders for
What?
books. What are those called? I've never read a book. So I don't know.
Bookmarkers.
A bookmark. Yeah. Do you have a bookmark?
Bookmarks? Is it bookmark or
I think it's a
bookmarker?
Bookmark is one,
I
and
think a
then
bookmarker. You get in trouble for those in school when you color in the
Book-
library books.
Yeah,
Mm.
with bookmarkers.
Yeah. Oh, you know what you should do?
Yeah.
What?
All right, now that you've written a song for every single Metro stop, you're somewhat familiar with the whole area, right?
Yeah.
Take some dice, hop on the Metro with some friends, and play Metro Dice. My neighbor said he used to do this. Hop on the Metro at the last stop of any one line,
Yeah.
and you roll the dice, and you see how many stops You need to travel before you get off, find the closest bar, and explore the area. When you're tired of that one, or it sucks, you get back on, you roll some more dice.
Oh, no, I don't have that kind of time. That sounds cool, though.
You got
that
songs
sounds cool.
to write.
May I suggest, because the organizing body that takes care of the metro trains is Washington Area Metro Transit Authority, right?
WMATA.
WMATA.
There's another A, I think.
May I suggest one?
Washington assholes, Metro
may I
Transit Authority.
may I suggest something now that you've finished all of the metro stops? Buses. If you could do every bus stop.
Oh, there's no way I'm gonna do that. There is a woman who did a blog about all the metro bus lines a few years ago.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds terrible. Never reading that.
No, it was great. It was great. She and I actually met up at the Wheaton station and kind of compared notes.
Will she also be at the City of Gaithersburg Book Festival?
She moved to Chicago.
Oh, well, maybe she'll be back.
It's a smart move on her part.
Probably. So what I'd like to do is take a moment to share a snippet from one of these songs.
Sharing is caring.
Yeah, exactly. So which volume is this song from?
Okay, this is from the newest one, Volume 8,
Okay.
which is called Metro Lounge. This song is New Carrollton.
New Carrollton's.
All right.
Yeah, here you go.
See the history. Old New Carrollton for free. Shown a single scene. Someone saw the legacy. Others saw the people demean. Hey, Jim, don't you give up now. There's a lot more ways you can help this town. I said, hey, Jim, if you leave
Okay,
us
I need to know who Jim is.
Okay, Jim is
Ruining the
man.
mystery.
This is embarrassing, but I've forgotten the last name.
Jim
he was
Carrollton.
he was an artist who did a mural for in New Carrollton that went up on the side of the Sheraton.
Oh, I think it's a soft J. It's Yim.
In the what's that?
I think it's a soft J. It's Yim.
Yim?
Yim.
Yeah, you've been saying it wrong all this time in your song.
Sorry, man.
That's
Oh,
his name.
soft.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yim.
I know an engineer who could fix that for you. Me, baby.
So this was in the early '80s, and he did this mural, and he wanted to depict the town of New Carrollton and its history and everything. And part of that was he wanted to pay tribute to a large group of people that helped make it what it is, which is, of course, goes back to our history of slavery in this country.
Right.
And he depicted slaves working in a field, and there was very mixed feelings from the community about that.
I can imagine.
Of course, he meant it in the very best way.
Sure.
But there were people that did not see it that way, and the mural came down after like a year or two. And he was so frustrated by this, he actually he left the area. He moved out to like a small town in Maryland, and just kind of took to doing street side art. And he's actually done like a lot of the street signs. I don't mean street signs like the sign that has the name of the street, but,
Right.
but signs that are out on like the shingle hanging out in front of stores.
Okay, yeah.
In the town of St. Michael's.
Oh, interesting.
And I feel terrible that I can't remember his last name, but if you Google, you'll find it.
Yeah, New Carrollton Jim.
Yim, that guy.
Well, I like
and
the
the
fact-
mural that was on the Sheraton.
Yeah, which depicted a lot about history, which is perfect because our next segment is called This Week in History. See how I did that? If you want to
All
hear
about
more
the
of,
transitions.
I know. If you want to hear more of Jason Mendelson's song, New Carrollton, by the way, you can fast forward to the 1 hour mark of this show and listen to the entire track. In the meantime, we're going to tell you a little bit about what happened this week in the world. Your job, Jason Mendelson, as we go through this, is to take careful notes and determine at the end what the most historically impactful thing was that happened around this week.
Okay.
For whatever reason you feel it was historically impactful.
All right.
We have had things like butter win. So
Yeah.
there's a wide berth of what could be acceptable. So we'll start off in 1670.
We go in chronological order. So it's 1670, the Hudson's Bay Company was chartered, which is basically Pirates of the Caribbean in the Hudson Bay.
What?
So King Charles of England
Yeah.
decided that he wanted to pillage and plunder the entire Canadian area.
Sure.
So he chartered this company and like, yes, you have the rights to the fur trade in this whole area. And here is all the muscle you need to enforce whatever, which is why Jason Momoa in Frontier is so pissed off.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
It's the
I'd
whole
be
reason
pissed
for
off
that
too.
show. Yeah, so it's basically, Pirates of the Caribbean, the bad guys, the guys with the big ships with the lots of guns
But
who
north?
fight Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
That's these guys.
Oh.
But it's cold.
But it's colder.
Yup.
Which would make you even more angry, I would think.
Well, if you got the right furs on,
Yeah.
I suppose maybe, I don't know. I never learned to read.
That's very interesting.
But
Well,
yeah, Hudson Bay Company, which is pretty much the beginning of the end for Canada.
and then they went and made fans or something. Isn't that the same company? Hudson Bay? I don't know.
Fans?
Yeah, I think like
New York Mets fans?
No, like ceiling fans, I think.
Sure.
Maybe. 1894.
Birthday!
Yes, it is. It is the birthday of a person I'm probably going to mispronounce. Norma Talmadge, I think. I think that's how you say it. She was born in 1957. I think that's... Oh, no, she died in 1957, I think. She died in
She was born in
1957.
1957, but her birthday was in 1894.
Yeah, no. She was born in 1894. She died in 1957. She was an American silent film actress. Now, that doesn't seem like a big deal. Sure, she's one of the biggest stars during the silent film era. We don't even know what she sounds like. Here's where it gets interesting.
Was it silent porn?
Yes, it was silent porn, which is just like my love life. And
Oh, rough.
and so we should paint the ceiling. And so according to legend, back on topic, according to legend, she accidentally stepped into wet cement at Grauman's Chinese Theater. And that is what started the tradition
Oh, shit.
of all of the stars putting their hands and feet in concrete in front of...
That inconsiderate
theater.
bitch.
I know. I like that she came in and was like, hey guys, this is just beautiful. I love what you've done with this. Son of
Squish.
a bitch! Who left this here? And they were like, that's kind of cool. We should do that more
Hey,
often.
write your name.
Yeah, write your name. Write your name in it.
Somebody came back like, I just laid this sidewalk.
Jesus
I
Christ.
just did this. You couldn't leave it alone for 2 hours.
Yeah.
2 hours.
And they're like, no. Famous silent film actress did it. And he's like, oh, do I get to meet her? And yeah. And they're like, here she is. This is Norma. And she goes, hi! Because I
No
assume...
wonder silent films. You're terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Thank you for letting me put my feet in your cement!
You ruined everything.
All right, so after that, we have what I think, for the record, I'm laying it out right now. This is the winner. 1913. The zipper is patented.
Oh, shit.
That's what I'm talking about. The all-purpose zipper is patented by Gideon Sunback. Now, I think it's interesting because they call it the all-purpose zipper, which makes me think that maybe there were other very specific zippers made before this. I don't know. There was like the cow zipper, and like they were like, if you need to get in a cow, just unzip this cow zipper. And
That's how that works, right?
well, here's the thing. This
If
is why
only
I think-
somebody had told the honey badger.
I think that's probably how it goes. This is why I think it's important, is because before 1913, everyone's junk was out. Yeah. You had to walk around just looking at people's junk because there were no zippers. So only after 1913, imagine just the sheer amount of frostbite it prevented, right? Wow. Historically important. I'm just saying. It's super important.
What has 42 teeth and holds back the great white?
My
My fly.
Oh, that's also.
Anyway.
Yeah, and now we fast forward to 1933.
1933. In 1933
Yes.
was the first reported sighting of Nessie. Since you told us last week that she hadn't been seen in
We're all worried.
like a year.
In like 8 months.
This is the anniversary of when she was first seen. They not the picture, but some old couple reported that like some giant thing was thinging in the thing.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, that must be important.
They were like, zip up your
Yep.
zipper.
They set out a reward for anybody who could catch it, capture it alive.
Right.
And to this day,
That's so boring.
no one has caught it alive ever.
Here's the interesting thing. For its anniversary, they got it a cake and it didn't show up. So everybody's still very worried. Yeah, still very concerned. Because
Well, that's not its birthday. It's the anniversary that are being cited. Do
she
you remember the first
fucking-
time you were seen, Keith?
yeah,
No, you don't.
it was my birthday.
You lying sack of crap. It's not your birthday. You're
They're like,
ruining my
holy
point.
shit, there he is.
Here's my point. Gone. God damn it, Keith.
1945, Hitler's wedding. Now that sounds historically important, but let me put it in perspective. The German leader marries his mistress. So he was married before, I think. Isn't that what that means?
Don't you have to get a divorce to
Ava
marry
Braun.
again?
Not if you just murder people. You
Oh,
don't.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, and then they go on their honeymoon, which is the following day, where they commit suicide together and their bodies are never found.
Did they commit suicide together or did he just kill them both? I mean, I always thought that Hitler
Sure.
wasn't so bad because he is the guy who killed Hitler.
Yeah, I mean, we really appreciate that about him. And he made great roads. Those two things, everything else, pretty much shit.
Well, then again, at the same time, he did kill the guy who killed Hitler.
That's unfortunate. Yeah. No parade for him.
So, also in
Yeah.
1945,
What?
you mentioned they committed suicide. That's
Yes.
because the Ruskies were invading. They had made it all the way back to Berlin
Uh-huh.
not because they had better equipment, better guns,
Yeah.
because it was the Russian winter, blah, blah. No, there are just so many goddamn Russians.
Right, you just throw Russians
just-
at anything.
Yeah, they just poured in like that World War Z.
Right.
That's
yeah.
They looked like an ocean of Ruskies.
Right. The first 8 waves just got murdered, and
Right.
then everybody else just climbed over them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Italy surrendered to the Allies, and Germany surrendered to Russia on this day in 1945. Later in the week, it's known as like 7 days from now when the whole the official surrender was put through and everything. It's known as VE Day, or Victory in Europe. So that happened this week.
I think also 3 days from now, 4 days. So tomorrow, Hitler commits suicide, and then like 3 days from then is Hitler Easter. I think for skinheads,
We'll talk
they
to Adam.
believe in that.
Apparently, he's pretty good at that.
Yeah. So skinheads really love that particular holiday. So then we fast forward to 1957.
In the wake of the Ruskies taking over Germany,
Yes.
and since their government was communism, which is a total lie, I'd like to mention that Joe McCarthy
Boo.
died in
Yay!
1957. Yay! Joe McCarthy, famous for really, really fueling the Red Scare,
Yeah.
scaring the shit out of everybody, blacklisting most people, and making it bad to be communist.
And inventing, a lot of people don't know this, the item that is named after him, the D-bag.
Yes. Rhymes with McCarthy.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole Red Scare. He pretty much is like, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Okay, it's catching on. Here's fuel to the fire. And to this day, communist is still a derogatory term.
no.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
God. All right. So, last but not least, 1993, the most recent of all of our stories.
Dun, dun.
A Vancouver, British Columbia woman delivers the first of her triplets.
Okay.
That's not good enough for history.
The first, wait.
Yeah, the first
What
of
about
her
the
triplets.
triplets? That's
Yeah.
I'm not very good at math, but that's like at least one kid.
Right. Yeah, 2 more after that.
2 more.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So she delivered for what then?
Yeah, the other 2 born 45 days later.
What the fuck?
Wow.
45 days.
So was that kid born like a month early or what?
I don't know.
Oh God, I have terrible gas and I'm peeing all the time. Maybe just get rid of one.
One. You're just lighten the load a little. Could I lose 5 pounds? Is there a quick way to do that? Actually, yes, there is. That is the longest time between births of triplets in the history of history.
That kid is a month older than their siblings.
Right. They're like,
Month
which
and
one
a
of
half.
you is the oldest of the triplets? And the one that's like a foot taller is like me.
Actually, you don't know this, but Adam, the engineer, is exactly 7 days older than I am.
What?
And he holds that over my head all the time.
Are you from the same mother? Are you twins? Be honest. No. Okay, so
Anyway, so
Jason-
7 days is enough to hold that over somebody's head.
yeah.
45?
My God, Jason.
Was she in labor the
Mendelson.
whole time?
I don't know. I mean, obviously she was taking care of a kid, so that's enough labor as is. Jason Mendelson,
Yep.
we need from you the authoritative decision as to what is the most historically important zipper on this list.
Shit. Okay. So all right. First thing I got to say is I was just in Scotland last week, and I could swear I saw a whole bunch of stuff about the Loch Ness monster that was way older than 1933. So I've got to dispute the source there.
As far as I know, he's lying about everything.
Maybe that's like in the I don't know.
I would suggest
photograph or something.
Yeah,
when is that photograph from? Maybe that's what that is. But
maybe
I remember reading about that being a legend going way back.
I would discount anything that Victor says. I'll be honest.
Although accounts of aquatic beasts living in Scotland's Loch Ness date back to 1,500 years,
Yeah.
the modern legend of the Loch Ness monster was born when a sighting makes its news on May 2nd, 1933.
There you go.
Cool.
There we go. So they did have things in the water before then.
Okay, but
They just didn't have a name.
not this specific.
Nessie, yeah.
That makes
Nessie.
that far less original, and I'm going to delete it from the list. Can we? Adam, let's take care of that in post, please.
yeah. All right.
I think I got to go with VE Day.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, God, so typical. Oh, we won a war. We stopped the scourge of the world. Oh, we killed
the Japanese were still pretty grumpy at that point.
Right. We basically killed the guy that's synonymous with evil. Whatever. Zippers. I told you. Wangs were just flying everywhere. You totally didn't even hear me.
Cox.
Wieners are funny.
Yeah.
All right. So now that we've gotten through history, we can now settle down, get into our groove, and make new history.
And we're going to party like it's Bob Dylan.
Like it's Bob Dylan at a book
Maybe
show.
it's chilling like it's Bob Dylan. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I bet
Doesn't
that
make
guy could
sense.
party.
I don't get it.
I don't think he remembers a party at this point. He's like, hey, how's it going? I'm Bob Dylan. I'm going to write a song. It's done. That's all he does.
That's exactly how it works.
Uh-huh. I like big butts and I cannot lie. What was that, Mr.
I like
Dylan?
big butts and I
anyway.
cannot lie.
So, y'all song.
So our own personal Bob Dylan in studio.
This last bit of the podcast we like to do, we like to play the 5 senses. So you as a musician, I'm sure you've experienced things more than 0 ways in your life. So
True.
memories are attached usually with a specific sense, as you know, science proves. So we're going to walk through the 5 senses, asking you about each one, see if you have a specific memory attached. Opening with the largest and baddest, the most prominent, the sense of sight.
Oh, thank God. I hope he's not blind. This is going to be awkward if he is.
He's wearing glasses. That
I'm
just
not.
wouldn't make sense.
I see
There-
shit.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just saying. He
I
has
see
glasses.
things.
He might be faking it.
Okay, so I was under the impression this was as tied to the band, so I made this all
That would
Metro
be
songs
better, but if-
related.
But if you have ones tied to porn, those are also allowed.
Fab. All right, so so sight is sight the first one.
Yes. Silent
Yep.
films.
Okay, so all right, for my song White Flint, there's a mall there. Well, it used to be a mall there.
Is it still there? I know they like pulled all the stuff out of it for a while. Did they like just demolish the mall too?
It's all demolished and stuff. And I actually, I saw a drone video on the YouTube of the partially demolished White Flint Mall.
Good, because honestly, I'm probably not the first to say it, but I'm going to say it on national TV. Fuck malls.
You're not on a TV.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah, there's definitely too many of them around. And
They had a Dave and Buster's though, which was pretty great, right? That was the place where Dave and Buster's was, isn't it?
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
So that was always good. But that's pretty much the only reason I ever went to White Flint Mall.
Yeah.
I went in the entrance for Dave and Buster's.
Gone.
Never saw the rest of the mall ever.
Later, mall.
Yeah. Okay, so what happened?
There's like all kinds of like lawsuits going on because they basically shut the mall down like when tenants still had contracts to have their businesses there.
They all just came to their to their stores and were like, I'm gonna sell some books today, and then there's nothing there.
The big one I think was Lord and Taylor, and like they really held out. They were like boom, boom, boom. They're not going nowhere.
Right.
So that was like the last bit of litigation to be wrapped up.
They have the Lord on their side.
But it was seeing that video. It was those images that inspired me to write that song in the style of kind of an 80s dark synth waves sound.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's funny now you hear it and everybody goes, "Oh, it sounds like the music from Stranger Things," which I love. But I actually started working on that song like 3 years ago, so it actually predated Stranger Things.
Being associated with something newer, it's like motherfuck. I was there first.
Right.
Like, I was there first, but they released theirs first, so they win.
You should have sent it to them. Be like, do you need like some just mood music or anything? Because I could use money. That would be awesome. I'd like to see some money.
Oh my god. All right. So as a musician, probably you've heard a thing or two. So what do you have for the auditory sense?
One of the coolest sound experiences making these last couple of albums was I got to write a song for the Washington Redskins marching band.
What?
And record them and conduct them and everything.
Are you serious?
Totally serious.
What station was that?
Landover.
The Landover station.
Yeah.
They let you just borrow the marching band?
Yeah, I was like, can I use your band?
And okay.
All right.
Sure. Yeah, why not?
Oh, the cheerleaders too?
Yeah. Okay. Can I ride? Can I ride Kerrigan? Yeah, sure. Go ahead. That's pretty awesome. Yeah.
So getting to conduct that band and like just feeling the wall of sound from like 100 horn players and drummers.
God.
Was
There's so many people
amazing.
on the field, you can't even do formations anymore. It goes from like lines to this massive circle potato to a slightly different circle potato to more lines. Like, too many people. Some of you need to leave.
Right. This is Andromeda. That's what we're making. That's pretty cool. How far back was that? When did you do that one?
That was just like a year ago. So that's on volume 7.
Wow. And what was that like? Did you literally just send them an email and be like, hey, on Sundays I know they're busy, but
can I borrow 100 plus people?
I actually work with one of the Sousaphone players, and so he actually was one of the people that interviewed me for that job 6 years ago. So
Really?
so for years, every now and then I'd see him and I'd bug him like, "Hey, I'd love to write a song for you guys."
Wait, the bass player of that band interviewed you?
One of 10 Sousaphone players they have, yeah. And at our day job, which is completely unrelated to music. And so we always talked about it here and there, and then it finally just came together. And so I just, I've got school band experience, so I wrote up a little tune and wrote all their parts for them and went to a rehearsal.
Awesome.
And they're super nice. They're the nicest people.
Now, for those people that don't know, a sousaphone is a tuba that wraps around you.
Yeah, it's that
That's
big
basically what it is.
It's the marching tuba.
Yeah. And John Philip Sousa, who also wrote some marching stuff.
Yeah.
DC guy.
Yeah.
DC
is he
guy.
from DC? Really?
Sousa's a DC guy, yeah.
Oh, look at that. We are becoming more and more cultured as we speak.
Girl. So how about the, let's go with the one most tied to memory. It's directly wired into the brain, the olfactory sense.
Oh, yeah. Smell. So this is cool. So there's one of the songs on volume 7, Congress Heights. And there's a part 1 and a part 2. Part 1 is I do them all in different styles. And so part 1 is a yacht rock song. But
As in like a boat, a yacht?
Yeah, it's
Like
about
Christopher Cross kind of yacht rock?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
It's about St. Elizabeth's Hospital.
Okay.
That's at Congress Heights.
Yeah, I think of a yacht when
Which
I think
has
of St.
yachts.
Elizabeth Hospital.
Yeah.
Well, Dorothea Dix, who
Got
helped
made
found
fun
that,
of in middle school for that name.
A lot.
she helped found the hospital and chose the site because it looked out over the Potomac River, and so she thought that would be. This was when in a time of mental health care.
Sure.
They were adopting the idea of.
Pushing people
I can't
into
remember
rivers.
the word, but basically being giving patients a nice atmosphere to recover in. So that's the first part of it, and the second part,
Is that like safe zones?
That was shortly after the big movement of putting people in dungeons. I hope you feel better. If not, we were going to get some more of this tomorrow.
That is not far from the truth, actually.
Yeah?
That was
See?
a big revolution in mental health care.
That's what I'm saying.
But the second half of the song is a 10-minute instrumental remix of all the themes on the album. So I used a Roland GR500 guitar synthesizer, which predates MIDI.
Nice.
And whenever I turn it on and use it, I have to only do it for limited periods of time because I can smell burning.
Now, MIDI for our non-musician friends is
what does it stand for?
it was the weapon that they used before the guillotine.
Is that what it was?
So like it was.
It only went halfway down.
Yeah,
It
there was
went
a lot of
midway
fire
down.
involved. It was a weird smell. So is that how it relates to smell? How does it relate to smell?
Similar. It's MIDI is musical instrument digital interface, I think.
Oh my
Guillotine.
God.
And it's the modern way that synthesizers communicate with like computers and stuff.
And sousaphones.
But this is a guitar synth from the 70s, so it actually uses an electric guitar with a divided pickup that sends like electrical signals to a synthesizer unit. And it's from the 70s, so it's kind of old.
Yeah.
It still works, but
You said
barely.
unit.
Yeah.
Oh, I did. Yeah.
There's a few ones and zeros missing in there. Yeah.
So when I turn it on, it smells kind of burny.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the smell
Yeah.
that you've had.
That's probably not a good thing.
No.
You turn on some electronic equipment and there's
Yeah.
a fiery smell.
Yeah, I only leave it on for like 15 minutes.
Oh, Lord Jesus, it's a fire.
So we get into some dodgy senses here. We don't always get into these, but we have time. When you're a touring musician, this could go one of two ways. I'm going to go with the sense of taste.
Oh, sense of taste.
Yeah.
Okay. On Volume 7, there's a song called Greensboro, which is a really interesting story there. That's in Tyson's Corner.
Yeah.
And
One of
originally,
the newer ones.
yeah, on Silver Line. Originally, there's a restaurant there, a Korean restaurant that has a really interesting history, and I wanted to write about that.
Okay.
And I reached out to them, and they never replied to me, and that's cool. they've got a restaurant to run.
Yeah, of
I get
course.
that.
It'd be great if they had said, we don't have time, but could you just reach out to the Redskins marching band?
And so what I did instead was I turned it into a song about all the diverse restaurants that are within walking distance of the Greensboro station.
Oh,
so there's
okay.
like at least 15 or 20 restaurants of all different nations' cuisines.
Are you there often at the Greensboro
No,
Metro?
no.
Did you go there just to eat a bunch of food so that you
Yeah.
could speak about this?
Yeah,
Or
I actually-
How did that work out?
There's actually a much longer story where I spoke to some Korean American friends of mine, and it became this whole involved discussion about sensitivity towards like cultural appropriation and things like that.
Okay.
Because I'll be honest, originally I thought I would do the song in the style of K-pop. And
Oh, wow.
it was I was informed that may be insensitive.
That could be very insensitive if you went Gangnam style.
Hey, just don't make it weird. It's
Yeah.
fine. Just don't make it weird.
I mean, obviously I was going to do it respectfully, but I figured
You do K-pop respectfully.
as a musical style. It's not like I was going to do, it's not like I was going to put Scotch tape on my eyes or something,
Right. Oh,
something
sure,
ugly
yeah.
or racist like that. It was just musical style.
Right. Yeah.
And so one of my Asian American friends and I met for dinner there after work. And we met at a Peruvian restaurant
Oh.
because why not?
Yeah. Why wouldn't you? It's Peruvian. What kind of food does a Peruvian restaurant have?
Chicken.
Chicken. Okay. Lots of chicken. I was thinking maybe
many, all of the chicken, all of it.
I was hoping it wasn't going to be guinea pigs because I know those are really popular in Peru.
As far as I know, it was chicken.
The chicken.
Yeah.
So
Chicken, good.
is that what you ended up writing that particular song about? Is Peruvian chicken?
It's more about the racial sensitivity issue,
Okay.
and how we talked about it over dinner, kind of.
And then delicious chicken.
But I recorded
sensitive
it-
People.
I
Ain't nobody
recorded
got
it-
time for that.
I recorded it to a 4-track cassette recorder, which I'm really proud of.
Wow.
Yeah, I
I
went
didn't know
old
those
school.
existed
Old
still.
school Tascam, baby. Yeah.
Were you just running out of other options?
No, it was
No? Oh, we've run out of time. I'm sorry, Jason. All right, so we never got to the sense of feeling. We'll have to have you back and find out more about what it is to be Jason Mendelson.
Yeah.
In the meantime, this week, everybody, May 13th, Vim and Vigor at Kingsman Island Bluegrass Folk Festival in Washington, D.C. Obviously, May 20th, Jason Mendelson and Faith Hayden at the City of Gaithersburg Book Festival in Gaithersburg, Maryland. Remember, 11 a.m. Go check them out. Shout out to the AWH mob to join it, like us, follow us, retweet us, and share the show on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, and we will mention you on the show right here. Next week, we'll be telling you how Gwyneth Paltrow might be killing you. If
That's
you
a lie.
What? You never know. If you enjoy the show, email us at contact@anotherwastedhour.com. If you hated the show, send your complaints to Apple, you sheeple. Thanks to Kevin Eminger and all the rest for all of your contributions. Thanks to Victor, and most of all, thanks for Jason Mendelson for wasting a perfectly good hour with us. This has been another wasted hour, and if you just realized that, don't blame us. We warned you.
us a sign. Tell us it will be alright. Giving up the fight. A vision that was torn apart. Turned him back to street side art. See the history. Old New Carrollton for free. Shown a single scene. Someone saw the legacy. Others saw the people demean. Hey, Jim, don't you give up now. There's a lot more ways you can help this town. I said, hey, Jim, if you leave us alone, we're gonna miss you till you come on home. I said, hey, Jim, we apologize for all the Philistines who couldn't see before their eyes. When you paint your panels to your heart's delight, shouldn't have to worry how you're gonna sleep that night. Oh. Why bother to dream? How did we get so unclean? When will we achieve everything that we deserve? Who among us has the nerve? Hey, Jim, don't you give up now. There's a lot more ways you can save this town. I said, hey, Jim, if you leave us alone, we're gonna miss you till you come back home. I said, hey, Jim, we apologize for all the Philistines who couldn't see before their eyes. When you paint your panels to your heart's delight, shouldn't have to worry how you're gonna sleep at night. Didn't mean to be so un-American. We're gonna put you back up on the Sheridan. Hey! Small town, everything has its place now. If we break this, no one but you can take this. Hey, save this town. I said, hey, Jim, if you leave us alone, we're gonna miss you till you come back home. I said, hey, Jim, we apologize for all the Philistines who couldn't see before their eyes. When you paint your panels to your heart's delight, shouldn't have to worry how you're gonna sleep at night. But when you paint your panels to your heart's delight, shouldn't have to worry how you're gonna sleep at night. We didn't mean to be so un-American. We're gonna put you back up on the Sheridan.